Hello, everybody. We're here today to talk about something that I've been kind of doing a real kind of slow burn over ever since I discovered it about a month ago. And I've been planning to do this video, and I was just thinking about how I wanted to do this video. So, here it comes. We are talking today about Philando Castille. Philando Castille is a African-American gentleman who was shot point blank by a police officer for, I don't want to say no reason, but I want to say that the reason was frivolous and ridiculous. Okay? The fact of the matter is that Philando Castille should still be among the living. And the cop that shot him should be rotting in a cell with all the other animals. That's the truth of it. Little disclaimer. A little disclaimer here. I'm sorry to anybody of my fans, my subscribers here. I may let a few expletives fly in this video. This angers me. This angers me greatly. So I may inadvertently let a few expletives fly in this one because it gets my anger up big time. I will try not to, of course. I would also like to disclaim one other thing. If you're the faint of heart, if real situations, real blood, real stuff like that are a problem for you, I would have to say, please be careful with this video. I am not going to pull any punches on this video. I am putting in the full footage for everybody to see it because I want everybody to be just as outraged as I am about it. So, we're going to see, basically we're going to end up seeing here 3 different clips. We're going to see, first, the clip that was basically made by Philando Castille's girlfriend basically right after he was shot. She started her phone recording on Facebook Live, I believe it was, and she started recording the situation, and we're going to see her and how terrified she is. Okay? And the cop's telling her not to move, and she's literally sitting there with her hands like this and scared to death. And the cop's yelling at her, don't move. And she's like, I'm not moving, sir. And terrified and still calling him sir after he just shot her boyfriend in cold blood. Just take that in for a second. Just imagine that for a second. You're getting pulled over for the 47th time in somewhere between 4 to 6 months. You're getting pulled over for the 47th gosh darn time. You can't tell me these cops didn't have an awareness of Philando Castille. You can't tell me they didn't have any kind of awareness of who he was and that he was actually a very mild person that wasn't into, gang banging or any crap like that. Okay? So they know. When you pull this guy over 46 times for a taillight or because you want to check his insurance or some other BS crap, you've gotten to know this guy at that point. So, having said that, so you're going to see how terrified this woman is. Okay? Also keep in mind, there's a daughter, like a 6 or 7-year-old little girl that was in the back seat when all this happened. She actually got out of the car shortly after the shots were fired. Mom, Philando Castille's girlfriend, didn't get out of the car because she was freaking scared shitless. And she knew that if she moved, she was probably going to get a couple shots fired at her and a couple slugs fired into her. Just think about that level of fear. Think about it. It's one thing when it's criminals that are victimizing you, but what about when it's the police? What about when it's law enforcement? And you're having to sit there and go, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You just killed my boyfriend, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm standing totally still, sir. I won't move, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, just imagine what that would be like. And then to sit there and watch the police not get the paramedics out there, not call paramedics, but sit there and figure out how to cover their own ass instead of getting the man help and hopefully to where he could have possibly survived. No, these cops were only considering covering their ass. And that's it. That's all they flipping cared about. So this gentleman dies in the car. And the paramedics were not called immediately. They didn't come for a while. I can't. This outrages me so much. Then I saw the footage from the officer's dash cam of his police vehicle. No. This guy had no business. This guy had no business being in charge of anything. This guy is a... Officer Yanez is his name. This guy should never even been made a cop. This guy should have flunked out of the goddamn police academy. This guy, I'm sorry. Here's the thing, people. You can't tell me after 46 times contacting this guy, pulling this guy over, and having contact with this guy, that you somehow thought that somehow this 47th time he was a danger to you? That you needed to shoot him, and I mean... like immediately. Okay? What happens here is that this cop pulls over Philando Castille. The cop comes up. He's like, give me your, your insurance and your ID or whatever. And so Philando Castille hands him the insurance card. And because he's a Second Amendment, he believes in the Second Amendment. He has a permit to carry a firearm. He was letting the cop know, oh, by the way, I do have a firearm here in the car that I am licensed to carry. As he was reaching for his wallet to also give the cop his ID, which he had just given the cop his insurance information. Okay? As he's trying to reach for the wallet to get his ID, which Yanez, the idiot, asked for, Yanez doesn't say, oh, stop, just stop, hold on, let me have you step out of the car. He doesn't do that. No, he immediately pulls out his gun and fires. Philando Castille was reaching for his ID, which Yanez had asked for. Philando Castille was doing everything correctly. He was letting the cop know, I'm a Second Amendment believer. I carry a weapon here. I am licensed to carry this weapon. He was doing the right thing, letting the cop know, to specifically prevent the cop from being scared, so that the cop would know and that he would feel that Philando was being upfront. Within 5 seconds of Philando telling him that there was a gun in the car, this cop was already reaching for his gun and getting ready to pump slugs into him. It's completely outrageous. It's completely unacceptable. So, we're going to move into the first clip now, where you're going to see his girlfriend and how terrified she is. How absolutely terrified she is. And that she has to sit there, as terrified as she is, and she has to sit there and continue saying, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, got it. I won't move, sir. I'm completely still, sir. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. So we're going to move into that clip now, and then we're going to come on back.
Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police he's covered. They killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. Fuck. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone. Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
Get the female passenger out.
Man, exit the car right now with your hands up. Let me see your hands. Exit now. Keep them up. Keep them up. Face
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
So, right there, you see, she's clearly saying that the cop asked for these things. He asked for the ID or driver's license. He asked for the insurance, which he got. And because Philando Castille was doing the thing he was supposed to do and letting the cop know that there was a gun in the car, but was not reaching for it, he was reaching for the ID that the cop had asked for. If the cop was scared, here's the thing. If the cop was scared, then he should have said, whoa, stop, don't move, let me have you step out of the vehicle. That would have been the right thing for him to do. Actually, it would have still been horribly racist. But you know what? At least Philando Castille would have lived to see another day. That's the honest truth of it here. Because you see her, she's clearly saying, no, officer, you asked for his ID and he was reaching for his ID. And then you shot him. So, and it was 4 times. I mean, why did you need to fire 4 times? I mean, what is up with that? I mean, is this the way that our police are trained to shoot innocent bystanders that they pull over 4 times because they're a little bit scared? And you're gonna see this cop, what he looks like when he fires. I mean, he looks like a chihuahua that's about to piss on the rug because a ladybug flew into the room. You know, literally, he's like, oh, you know how chihuahuas get when they get scared and and right when they're about to piddle on the rug. That's what this guy looks like, and I'm going to show you that right now so you can see it. This guy had no business being there, and I'm going to pound it again. When you've pulled this guy over 46 freaking times in a short amount of time, you've gotten to know this guy. You should have known from the first 46 times whether or not this guy was dangerous, which he wasn't. So, there is so many reasons why there is no fucking excuse for this. There is no excuse. This is not acceptable. This is beyond the realm of being a mistake. This is seriously, this is a problem, and it needs to be addressed. You know, it seriously does, because you know what? The message that's being sent right now by law enforcement and by the prosecutors and everybody who are just letting these cops kill people and get away with it. You got to stop. You've got to do something. You've got to make effective change here, because this is just going to end up setting off a powder keg of problems if you don't get a handle on it. You have to get a handle on it. You cannot fucking be shooting people because the pigment of their skin doesn't match yours. That is an unacceptable flippin' reason. So, having said that, also would like to say, the NRA, you should hang your head in shame. All of you. Hang your freaking heads in shame. Because this man was, exercising his Second Amendment right. He was acting completely lawfully. And guess what? The NRA decides that they're not going to say a word about this. Because of why? Because of the pigment of its goddamn skin. And no other reason. No other reason. So, we're going to move into the clip now where we get to see Officer Yanez acting like a chihuahua that's about to piddle on the rug because a ladybug flew into the room and scared him.
Sir, I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then.
Don't pull it out.
Don't pull it out.
You just killed my boy. He wasn't reaching. Don't pull it out. He wasn't. Don't move. Oh, man, I can't. Oh, my God. Don't move. Oh, my God. Don't move. Oh, my God. I'm shaking. Don't move. Don't move, baby. Code 3. Get the baby girl out of here.
So, you clearly see it right there. Yanez asked for insurance and ID or driver's license. He was given the insurance information. Philando Castille was very calm. He was explaining what he was doing. He was saying, oh, by the way, I want to let you know there is a gun in the vehicle. And the cop says, okay, well, don't reach for it. And Philando Castille says, I'm not reaching for it. He was going for the ID that he had asked for. Okay? At that point, the cop should have, if he was that scared, he should have pulled the gun out, and instead of firing it, he should have said, stop right there. Step out of the vehicle. Like I said, it would have been horribly racist, but at least Philando Castille would have lived to see another day. That's what should have happened here. I understand he's scared. I understand, you know, all those things I could understand until he kills a man in cold blood. Okay? And I'm sorry. That's the way I see this. Because Philando Castille was trying to do what he said. Okay? And he was trying to reach for his driver's license. And that is clear. That you can see that from all this video that you're watching. You can see that that is what was going on here. Let me give you guys another little tidbit. Philando Castille worked at like a school. There was a lot of kids there that and stuff. And I guess he worked in the cafeteria. Do you want to know what these kids kind of referred to him as? Their kind of nickname for Philando Castille? Their nickname for him was Mr. Rogers with dreads. Yeah, freaking Mr. Rogers. Okay? That's what the kids called this guy. Yeah. Just let that one sink in a bit. Let that sink in a bit. These cops had contact with this guy 46 times in a short amount of time. They were aware of this guy. They knew what he was like. They'd pulled him over 46 times. Had he ever pulled out a gun or done anything in those 46 times that would warrant him getting shot on the 47th? There's a lot of reasons why this doesn't wash. There's a lot of reasons why this is wrong. Wrong. Absolutely flipping wrong. There's no excuse for this, and Yanez should be rotting in a cell. Which brings me to my next point. You cannot be trying these cases with these cops like this in the same jurisdiction where they happened. What? Of course, a jury is not going to come back with an honest guilty verdict. They're going to be feeling afraid to do that because these are the cops that police their area. Come on, people. Seriously, this is fucking common sense. Common sense. Okay, those jurors would be terrified to really vote with their mind, to really, you know, vote the way their heart feels, because they're going to be afraid of reprisal from the law enforcement, you know, department where they live. These things need to be taken a couple counties away, somehow, some way. They need to be taken out of the jurisdiction where they happened. It's ridiculous, because the fact that after watching what you just saw and the fact that they let this guy off is just absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. This gentleman, Philando Castille, was doing nothing wrong. He was trying to follow the officer's instructions. The officer was incapable of handling the situation, and because he was incapable of handling the situation, he decided to answer. You know, he decided to make up for his lack of ability to handle the situation by firing bullets into Philando Castille and taking his life. Okay, so now we're going to move into the final clip I have for you here today. You saw at the end of the second clip there where at the end of the first clip, at the end of the first clip there where they were having, you know, Philando's girlfriend get out of the car, and they were telling her to turn around and walk backwards towards them, and, you know, them putting the cuffs on and all that. And you heard when they were cinching the cuffs up, you heard somebody in the background, a little girl in the background who kind of screamed or wailed. Well, that little girl was Philando's daughter. She'd just seen a cop shoot her dad, and now she was seeing the cops slap handcuffs and treat her mother like a common criminal. How sad is that? How sad is it for her? That poor little girl. My heart breaks for that little girl. That little girl doesn't have a daddy anymore. She's going to grow up without a daddy, because Officer Yanez was about to piddle on the rug. And I'm going to keep putting it that way because that's exactly what he looks like. He looks like a damn chihuahua that's getting scared by a butterfly and about to piss on the damn rug. So, we're now going to move into the part where Philando's girlfriend is in the back of the cop car with her daughter. And she's getting her phone out of her purse and just listen to the things that the little girl says. This part doesn't have anything gruesome to it. It doesn't have any blood or anything like that. Just the heart-wrenching words of Philando's daughter. So, have a listen.
You're innocent, my 4-year-old. Can you tell you about it?
I'll talk to my supervisor.
It's right there. It's on the floor. It's right
Can you
there.
just stand right here, sweetie? I'm just gonna take your mom's handouts off. Yep, I'll take care of that, okay? Can you just stand right here for me?
Stay right here. Don't
Go ahead and stand up.
Well, yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Okay.
Come here, Dada.
Okay.
Yeah, they broke his
Is that
ears.
your phone?
We in the back seat of the police car. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed.
It's okay, Mommy.
I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking fine. Ah!
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
So, there you have it. I mean, it's hard to say whether or not Philando's little girl is really fully understanding what has happened there yet. It may be that she just thinks that Philando is asleep or something. I don't know. But she's aware that something's wrong. And she's trying to console her mother. Her mother, who fully understands what's going on, just like wails, screams there because she's just so helpless. So helpless. All she can do is scream. And you hear the little girl, "I'm here with you, Mommy." Absolutely rips my heart out every time I watch that. This whole thing. Seriously. Just offends me in so many ways. It offends me to the core. But that little girl, more than anything else, because that little girl is now going to be growing up without a dad. Without her real dad. And, you know, this department that did this, you need to feel some remorse about this. You need to feel some kind of something here. You need to take some kind of responsibility. You need to make it right. You need to make it right. Not that you can, because there's no way you can give Philando Castille his life back, but you need to make it up. You need to make it right in another way. I don't know what else to say. This is completely unacceptable. I'm going to go ahead and end it here because this just, it angers me so much. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you later.